Hi everyone, I am Avdesh God. In this video, we will learn about the exclude LOD functions in Tableau. Well, let's get started. The exclude level of detail expressions allow us to calculate the aggregation at a higher level than the view. And thereafter, it helps us show the same at the level of detail of the view by replicating those values. To understand more about it, let us build a view first. Let us drop the subcategory field onto the row shelf and ship mode onto the column shelf. Let us also drop the sum of sales onto the column shelf and force this visual to fit the entire view. Let us now color code by the sum of sales as well. To do so, using the Control key, copy the sum of sales from column shelf onto the color shelf in the marks card. This will color code the entire visual in Tableau by giving the lowest sum of sales the lightest color and the highest sum of sales the darkest color. Over here, in the right hand side, we have a mark for sum of sales gradient. The lowest value is 140, whereas the highest one is 197,148. And based on the same, for the entire visual, this gradient is being set up. Let us turn on the mark labels to view the values accordingly. Here is the lowest value, that is fasteners, for the same day ship mode, whereas the highest value, which is given the darkest shade of blue, is falling under phones for standard class and having the value 197,148. But what if we want the color code separately for each ship mode? That is, for the first class, we want to color code separately irrespective of the other ship modes. For example, the highest value of sales in the first class should be given the darkest shade of blue, whereas the lowest value should be given the lightest shade of blue. Similarly, we want this gradient for the other ship modes to be calculated irrespective of the remaining ship modes. We can easily do that by utilizing the exclude LOD function by excluding the ship mode out of the calculation of the sum of sales. To do so, we need to create a calculation. Go to the drop-down and select Create Calculated field. If we'll go to Aggregate, we can see the exclude function available over there. The exclude function is also similar to include and exclude as far as the syntax is concerned. It also takes up dimensions before the colon in order to exclude the same from the current view, whereas an aggregate is specified just after the colon. Remember, include and exclude either include or exclude the dimension specified before the colon based on the current level of detail of the view, whereas the fixed level of detail expression is independent of the current level of detail of the view. We will start off with the curly brace, and then we will utilize the exclude level of detail expression. Thereafter, we will mention to exclude the level of detail at which we want to calculate our aggregate. That is, here we want to exclude the ship mode. After the colon, we will write up our aggregation, that is sum of sales. This will calculate the sum of sales by excluding the ship mode from the level of detail of the current view. Let us save this by giving it an appropriate name. Let us bring this calculated field onto the color shelf by replacing the existing sum of sales present over there. This is what we were looking for, a separate color code gradient for each ship mode. If we notice, for the first class, the maximum sales within the first class, that is for phones, is color coded with the darkest shade independent of the other subcategories of other ship modes. Same is the case for the other ship modes as well. That is, each one is independent of the others. In this section, we learned about numerous built-in functions within Tableau. You are now aware of the number functions, the string functions, type conversion functions, logical and aggregate functions as well. Together, we implemented the table calculations in Tableau. You are now aware of how to use a quick table calculation. Moreover, you can write one yourself as well. In the end, we explored about the level of detail expressions in Tableau, including the fixed, include, and exclude LODs. You are now aware of how to use these calculations in Tableau. In the next section, we will learn about creating dashboards in Tableau.